The Zerg starting to the top left of the map, while GIM with a 1-0 lead in the best-of-3 series here at the first round of Code A. It is
GIM NesTea.
NesTea with a brilliant scout in game number 1. The perfect reaction for him secures him a victory on Cloud Kingdom. At the bottom right with the Inca Memorial build, he was not successful. Maybe on Belcher Vestige he can pull off a win. This guy is a Casper's A player. It is
Ace Team HS.
You know, named himself after a character who is just looking for something out of the ordinary in life. I wonder what that says about him. Looking for something out of the ordinary. Definitely did a build that was a little bit out of the ordinary with a slightly delayed Dark Shrine in game 1. He could join the DT club.
That's actually a club.
Well, not in the series, but in the series the character joins a bunch of clubs, what makes a club. It's complicated, but in the end, NesTea, man, he's got the blockers. He's got 2 overseers. There's nothing that NesTea is not prepared for. You will very rarely see NesTea die to a cheese or an all-in because he's just so good at the defense. How many times was he all-in in the open seasons by players like Choya? So many times. Still made it to the finals, still won. He was a great player. It still is.
It's just the experience that comes into play here. People argue that if you reach a certain age that it's a little bit harder for you to compete in computer games, in esports. And NesTea certainly has passed that age already. He's a living example that even at age of 30 plus you can compete on the highest level of esports in StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
And sometimes he might be a little bit slower than other players, but he makes more than up for it with his knowledge and just with his predictions,
absolutely,
with his experience.
Man. He's like a wise sage, and not like the old sage because, yes, he is older, but he's not an old man. He's just a reasonable person, someone to look up to, you know?
Okay,
he's
if you
like
call NesTea old man, I'm gonna punch you. I'm actually at the same age he is.
He's an older brother, you know? He is someone, I like that. He's someone to look up to. He really is, and so many players look up to him, ask him for advice about player contracts, for example.
Nice save there.
I'm serious. This is coming from the heart. People look up to this guy. He's so well respected in Korea. He always speaks when ESF goes to speak. For example, when they were meeting with Kespa and Blizzard in the past, he's made a lot of statements.
It's definitely true. The level of respect that NesTea is met with here in Korea is crazy, and even if you see him at a foreign tournament, it's the same. And Iron Squid, there was actually the video was on Reddit. It was linked on Team Liquid too. When NesTea came up on stage, people chanted, the French community chanted his name to an extent where he couldn't even talk. He appeared on the stage and people went crazy. Then at some point the sound ebbed down a little bit and he only touched the microphone. He couldn't even bring it to his mouth, he just touched the microphone and everyone went wild and he was just standing there like, I can't even say anything.
Yeah. That's who we're dealing with here. That's who HS has to play against right now.
He's already a legend.
He rolled the wrong player, man. He drew the wrong card.
Well, NesTea right now is on 3 bases. We have him so far without gas. For his opponent, for HS, we see the Cybernetics core, and the question, of course, remains, what kind of tech can we expect from HS? We've seen builds with Twilight and Robotics going into a 3rd base on this map also. Stargate is really, really popular, and here we have it for HS going into that Stargate build that we just mentioned. Rain really loves it. What you like to do is do damage with the initial Phoenixes, pressure your opponent, take your 3rd base, and then try to keep the Phoenixes alive so that later on you can use them against the Infestors, which are usually inevitable on this map.
Yeah, very true. I mean, the 3rd base on this map was for a while so difficult to take, and people figured out, no, wait a minute, what if you just pressure with Stargate first? You can actually take it. And on the newest version of this map, we have 2 sets of destructible rocks that are next to the base, which makes it a lot easier to wall off as well. So this is a better version of the map. It's definitely much more balanced than the one we had before. It's good to see the GSL map makers are listening to feedback and making these maps better. Phoenix comes out first with Robo. We could see something hero-like here. Ooh, that probe had some trouble going to mine there. I don't know if you guys caught that, but it's all fine.
Yeah, we could see like a hero-style push. That is true. That's actually going to get really interesting here. The tag for NesTea once again at roughly 7 minutes into the game. And the first Overlord is attacked by the Phoenix, so the air transition is no surprise anymore.
We could also see that JYP Warp Prism play where he kills the Overlords with the Phoenixes, adds gateways, goes for a Warp Prism. He could pick off all the overlords in the path, but the bigger problem will be, of course, the watchtowers.
Yeah. There are a lot of gateways. He's going for 3 additional ones, so you have 3 NesTea's supply block by losing this overlord.
Yeah, he's going to lose another one. He's only starting 2. And if HS finds a 3rd overlord in the bottom left corner, things are going to get even worse.
There's the Immortal. If we... Huh?
It looks like he just wants to damage the production of NesTea with these and then go for an attack, rather than going for the Warp Prism. He could still take a 3rd with this, though, because similarly to damaging the production for a defense, if you damage the production of NesTea, it's harder for him to attack and pressure you at your 3rd.
Yeah. NesTea is now going into double queens again. He really needs a lot to defend against those phoenixes. He's committing so many resources to this. He's
as
getting,
well as the spores. He's getting 4.
Yeah, that's why. He's getting the spores, he's sacrificing the drones, he's getting the extra queens. That is a huge investment into this defense. And HS is now just getting Immortal after Immortal. So this looks really like he could follow this up with an attack. Very much the style that Hero likes to do it when he opens up with phoenixes.
3 more gates, and NesTea goes Hydra.
Yes, he goes into a Hydra, and I really like this for him.
You know, the thing about Hydras is that they're not always the right choice, but if you have the Den, that doesn't cost that much money, and then you can make them if they become necessary. So he comes in here, he scouts. He could even scout that there's a 3rd base and then cancels Hydra's Den now if he wants to.
Did you see how HS, when he saw the Overseer, pulled those 2 Immortals away? That was the first thing that he did, because he's like, okay, you're gonna see my robotics, but that's not gonna tell you anything. If I save my Immortals from your vision, then it's gonna be fine. And now we have Hydras, and Hydras in this situation is like one of the best things that he could have done. Usually, if you see a Stargate opening, you're a little bit reluctant to go into Hydras, because the follow-up is most likely gonna be a robotic spay with Colossi that melt your Hydras like crazy. Yeah. But against this type of push, Hydras are pretty good if you get enough of them, and if you have the Roaches to buffer, which he already has on the map.
Exactly.
And +1 attack and range. Everything is going to line up well.
Sentries are not very useful against Hydras in a fight. Obviously, if the force fields are perfect, if you zone the Hydras, then you can take the fight. But once the force fields go down, if the Hydras can still do their damage, the Protoss has to back up, because the Sentries will die. They'll disappear in seconds. He's going to catch these Phoenixes potentially here. That was a close call.
Yeah.
This is still going to be tough for NesTea. He hasn't done it yet. It's all going to depend on his control and the force fields of HS.
Yeah, definitely. The force fields are key here. With good micro, HS can do a lot of damage in this particular scenario. But the Hydralisks with the range upgrade that just finished will be in a spot where they can do a lot here. And here come those Sentries. The Spore Crawler at the front. The Hydralisk trying to wiggle away at the number of Phoenixes.
You know, he's not even really using them here. Now he starts to pick up some Roaches, but the Hydras in the back still doing their damage. NesTea needs a few more of them. He's got 4 on the production tab. The Queen needs to be saved as well. It's got a lot of energy. He loses the Queen without a transfuse.
116 supply against 94. Here's another pick up. The Phoenix are trying to damage the force fields.
Back
not
perhaps
bad.
working against NesTea here as well, kind of making it so he can't get his Hydras over to get an angle on the left side of these units.
That's a really beefy army for HS here. He still has all those Immortals alive, and the Queens are trying to do their best. The Zerglings running in from behind. No additional force fields by the Sentries. A little bit too late, but here comes the rest from the Hydra. There's a lot of DPS.
Back, but it doesn't look like it's enough.
It really doesn't look like it.
The
Queen's falling fast in supply.
Queen's trying, but he picks up the ones with the energy, so they can't transfuse, and it looks like it's too much.
NesTea is trying his best. He's getting additional Zerglings in, but he already lost a lot of Harvesters. The macro hatch is gone, and the Protoss play, he just does not stop.
There's so many units for that Protoss army low on hit points, a few Stalkers, and all of the Phoenixes in the red right now. That one Phoenix, I think, has 2 hit points left.
NesTea is out of gas. He can't get anything else but Zerglings, and Zerglings are not going to be the answer with the +1 attack upgrade for all those Zerglings. Here goes the Evolution Chamber. The Natural is also down, and we have the Protoss player controlling the ramp, walking up, and this is lights out for NesTea in game number 2.
Looks like it. Queen and Hydra's on the Natural, retreating. He is losing all the drones. I mean, even the Queen is in the air. Last wave of Zerglings will die, and NesTea is going to have to take this one to a game 3. GG. A lot of NesTea fans here going nuts, going crazy.
NesTea?
I'm sorry,
HS.
for HS.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, why are Kesper girls screaming for HS? It doesn't make any sense. Or now I'm saying everything wrong. I'm like, Counter, who's Woodrow Wilson? Do you know who Woodrow Wilson is? No, okay, alright, so there, alright, now I'm fine. You don't know who Woodrow Wilson is.
What does that have to do with StarCraft?
What does William Tell have to do with StarCraft?
Well, the guy... You were going for the bullseye joke, okay? And William Tell is the bullseye guy.
Yeah?
I just got you.
Woodrow Wilson.
GG. GG, my friend.
Woodrow Wilson has glasses. NesTea has glasses. There's a connection. NesTea
I'll
is
take your word for
in
it.
trouble, though, and he needs to take this win on Akalon Flats. This is what it all goes down to.
Yeah. Game number 3 on a kill on flats. HS versus NesTea. On game 1, NesTea showed the kid who is boss, but this young player to the right, he was able to really perform well on the last map on Belcher Vestige. And NesTea, he prepared with a Hydralisk, but he just could not deal with this much pressure. HS going up the ramp with his Gateway and Immortal composition.
It was a really nice timing, and NesTea had the right units, but you know, this Hydra Roach defense against this push seems to be getting weaker and weaker because players are realizing how to force steal very, very well and picking off the queens with the energy rather than, you know, mismicroing it. NesTea not able to get a lot of transfuses. It all comes down to this, guys. One of these two players is going to Code B. NesTea, the big fan favorite here. Can he do it? Can he take game 3 on Akalon Flats? Let's find out at the GSL Code A, casted by Calder and Wolf.